Thanks for spending a piece of your day with me. I wanted to cover really Exodus 2 through 5 today. So there's a lot there. So let me explain. No, there's too much. Let me sum up. This Hebrew baby Moses is born. He's supposed to have been killed off, and his mother kept him for a couple of months, and then sets him free in this little raft in the river. And the Pharaoh's daughter, ironically, discovers the baby, has the baby raised, and then eventually brings him back into the palace and raises him up. He kills an Egyptian over the Egyptian was beating a Hebrew, and so he saw that, and so he ends up killing him, and he flees because the Pharaoh was going to punish him. And so he flees to Midian, and he finds a wife and everything there. And then God calls to him from the burning bush and saying, it's time for you to go back. So we see that God has allowed him to become this man that he needed to be, so that he could then go back and rescue his people, because God remembers that they're still in bondage. And so Moses goes and he confronts Pharaoh, and when he's going there to do that, really God is saying, it seems as if God is saying that you're going to be doing these wonders that are going to convince Pharaoh. And so he goes, he talks to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh's like, the problem is they got too much spare time on their hands listening to this rabble-rouser over here. We're going to put these Hebrews to work even harder. We're going to continue to require them to make bricks, but we're not going to collect the straw for them. And so the response of the Hebrews is really interesting. The Israelite foreman realized that this is in 5:19. The Israelite foreman realized that they were in trouble when they were told, "You're not to reduce the number of bricks required of you each day." When they left Pharaoh, they found Moses and Aaron waiting to meet them, and they said, "May the Lord look upon you and judge you. You have made us a stench to Pharaoh and his officials, and have put a sword in their hands to kill us." And so what we realize at this point is that God is going to do all of these wonders to convince Pharaoh, but it's also to remind his people of who he is and how powerful he is. They need to be convinced as well. They had groaned out to him in prayer, but apparently here what you realize about them is that they needed to be convinced. And so that makes me wonder if maybe today in our lives we are sometimes waiting for a miracle so that we can be convinced, that we, because of life, we start to doubt God's power, and we start to wonder if things are ever going to change. And I can tell you that it may seem like you're waiting forever, but God has not forgotten you. God will rescue you from your problems. God will be there to bring you to the promised land. Sometimes we just need to wait a little longer and have faith just a little bit longer.